Hey, this is the OCD MB. OCD. 3 letters, 3 words. Now, I'm sure it conjures a lot of images in your head. Maybe you think about someone washing their hands over and over again, or somebody that straightens their desk until it's just perfect. Yeah, that can be how it presents. Or, well, part of it. Remember how I said there were 3 words? Well, that's one of them. Compulsions. These are the things that most people think about when OCD is mentioned. That accounts for the C. That leaves 2 letters on either side of it. These are letters that aren't often talked about. The O, standing for obsessive or obsessions, which are unwanted, repetitive thoughts. These can range from something like, what if you left the stove on? To, what if somebody dies because you didn't do that right? They aren't necessarily sensical or rational, but they cause such a fear that the thought of, if I do this, then nothing bad will happen, brings calm, and so does that action, that compulsion. That brings us to the 3rd letter, D, disorder. The obsessions and compulsions don't stop there. They keep happening over and over and over again, to an extent that it can interfere with day-to-day life. So where does that leave you? Your time is taken up thinking about these obsessions and doing these compulsions to try to put a stop to them. The more you try to ignore it, the worse the anxiety gets. It sucks, right? According to therapists and psychologists all over, that's the main solution. Ignore it. Don't give in. Well, sorta. Work your way through the anxiety. Don't give in to the compulsions for as long as you can. Now, for those that don't have OCD, this might seem like a really easy thing to do. Just don't give in to the compulsion. Unfortunately, as those with OCD can tell you, it's really not that easy. An easy way to think about it is the don't think of pink elephants theory, or saying. It's a very common way to be introduced to the concept of intrusive thoughts. For those of you unfamiliar with the concept, or those that need a refresher, the don't think of a pink elephant thought experiment is basically exactly what it sounds like. Someone will say, for the next 30 seconds, think of whatever you want, be it sports, books, television, etc. But whatever you do, don't think about pink elephants. So, how did you do? Did you last that 30 seconds without thinking about them? Probably not. It's quite a hard thing to do. Now, add in the anxiety these distressing thoughts bring. So, why do people in the field of psychology stand behind this if it's so understandably difficult? Well, that brings us to yet another acronym, ERP. ERP is also known as Exposure and Response Prevention. In ERP, the individual will willingly expose themselves to the trigger of their anxiety or obsession. They will then proceed to not perform the accompanying compulsion. But, I hear you saying, doesn't that just make it worse? Well, yes. And no. The answer is a bit weird. With ERP, you have to walk before you can swim, and before that, you have to be able to crawl before you can walk. A good implementation of ERP won't push you straight into the deep end. You'll start off slow with something small. Over time, you will increase the goal's difficulty as your ERP skills increase. An example from my own life and my own OCD would be like this. Obsession. What if your coffee is poisoned? Compulsion. Stir the whitener into your coffee, but make sure it's in sets of 7 in both directions equally. ERP step 1. Potentially, in my case. Stir the whitener in sets of 6 in both directions. Step 2. Stir the whitener in sets of 5 in both directions. Step 3. Stir the whitener in one direction only. Step 4. Stir the whitener in one direction without counting. As I can attest to, each of these steps, though they seem small, each is a difficult but crucial part of the process. The time that it takes to complete each step can vary from person to person. It can take days or weeks to complete each part of ERP. Whatever it takes, however long, that's okay. Every person goes on their own journey and has their own path through tackling OCD and getting better control of the disorder. OCD is a tough disorder to get a handle on, and it is a very misunderstood disorder. Every little bit of education and proper information is key to ending the misunderstanding and stigma that surrounds OCD. If you have any topics that you would like to see covered about OCD or LGBTQ+ issues, please let me know in the comments down below. Resources will be listed below. Thanks for watching the OCD Envy. Stay safe out there.